everyone.
Thank you. All right, welcome. We're ready to get started, and want to welcome every one of you here today, and thank you for being here. Call to order, and we've already done the roll call. I'd like a motion, please, to approve the minutes from November 4th, 2020.
So moved.
Okay. Second, do we have any comments or any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, and I'm understanding that we're not supposed to answer that either. Okay, so, and we're very happy to have Vice Mayor, Commissioner Liaison to the Airport Advisory Board, Mary Lawson Brown with us this morning, or today at noontime. And on behalf of the entire advisory board and on behalf of Mr. Ewell and Mr. Holmes and all of our staff, Mary, we want to thank you for all your years of service to your community and your years of service to us and helping us. It always makes us each smile when we see you coming. And we understand that you'll be leaving your post soon. And so we wanted to take this time to just say thank you. And, you know, on a post-Thanksgiving week, it even is more appropriate, I think. So from all of us to you, we've got you a special little wreath to take home with you to express our appreciation.
Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Y'all have known me. The mayor told me when I was pushing to get something done before I left. He said we're meeting in January, and you still live here. You haven't gone nowhere. So I'll probably come out sometimes and visit if I get free lunch.
Mr. Holmes, how precious is that? Okay, well, thank you. And any board members that would like to speak, I'll hold this close if you have anything you want to say.
I just want to also thank Mary. She's personally and professionally important to me. I've loved you for a long time, and I thank you for all you've done for the city, the community, and me and my family. So thank you, Mary.
Well, it's been years and years and years, even going back to the last management of the airport. And we appreciate Ms. Brown and the work that she's done, the influence, always a smile. And I can say that I can't figure out whether she's a Rolex watch or a Timex watch. A Timex watch takes a licking and keeps on ticking, and a Rolex is just first class. And she's a first class lady.
Mayor, I just want to say, if I told you before, if you look up in the dictionary, public servant, your name's going to be there. Thank you for everything you've done.
Okay, well, thank you each for your comments and for your participation. On behalf of your advisory board, I also want to say this, that, and this is my culmination of everybody's comments and thoughts, is the words that came to my mind were our great late John F. Kennedy in 1961 on his inauguration day said, "Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you." And in our opinion, you have lived that out in Palatka and very well in serving your community, serving your city, serving all of us. And it's just a beautiful story. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll open the floor to any public comments. Are there any public comments? Oh, yeah.
Mayor, can you step up here and let's get a picture?
There are none right now, Mr. Chair.
Is everybody coming down to do?
And if you want
Sure.
Yeah,
That's way better than just me. That's for sure.
y'all make it famous.
I'll hide in the back.
My grandson is studying
You get up in the front.
No,
Y'all got to come on close. It's enough. Well, yeah, you can't get behind less than the read. You can't get behind the reading, you don't need to.
There we go.
Hang this on the wall at the airport.
Mr. Wayne, you gonna hide behind the reed?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you again, Mary. We're very honored. Any public comments? And Kyle, welcome, sir. We're glad to have you with us. Okay, we'll move on to the airport update, and we'll start with the financial recap. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about today. But the financial recap, John, is that you?
I think Logan has a briefing for us. on a
Okay,
Recap
Logan,
of
thank
last
you.
fiscal year.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I think your mic's not on.
Okay. Hello. Okay. All right. Thank you for having me today. I just wanted to give you an update about last fiscal year. We're still working on finalizing everything, year-end transfers, really closing out the books. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of where we're going to end the year. The first page, I believe you have the report in your packet. So on the first page, I don't know. Is it in there?
About the third page of it. You talking about this one?
This is what it
Oh,
should
that
look like.
one?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I do.
Is it not in there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of small. The first page is going to be your grant revenues and expenditures. Again, I believe on the last time I spoke, I told you that I've started separating out the grants versus the operating, just so that we can really see what we're working with. At the end of the fiscal year, which is going to be your middle column, we are actually a negative 344. That is because we are waiting on some of the reimbursement requests to come in. We have a total of 327,000 that has already been requested, should come in the next, half of it is already in. The remaining is the 17,000, and that is due to FAA will not actually refund 100% until the end of the project. So they'll refund up to 90, and then we kind of have to wait a little bit. But we are expected to bring in everything at some point. I do book that different now on our side, just so that we can see that it's not a true advance, that the general fund is going to give that money over, but it will be paid back due to grant, so that we don't have a cash flow problem. Operating revenues are on your next page. It begins the operating expenditures, which are your personnel services. It's broken down into operating and then capital. Same thing down at the bottom. To balance, you're going to have the 134,000. If you add that 16,000, that's where I got the 151. So you're going to be negative 151. I added the debt service back into that just so that you could see that if you did not have that debt service fiscal year 23, you would be a positive 6,000. That's roughly what we're seeing right now. Fiscal year 23 is when the debt rolls off. However, according to the CAFR report, and this is something that I'm not sure if it's really been highlighted very much, but according to our CAFR, back in 2013, there is a liability on the airport's financials. It was an advance because of, I believe the CAFR said that the pooled cash account was actually overdrawn by about $200,000 or 270, I believe, 274,000. We have paid on that a little bit. We talked with the auditors, I believe it was last year, maybe the year before, and they said that It needs to remain on the books because we can show that there is money to be made after the debt rolls off. It's an obligated liability that is on the books. So as soon as that debt rolls off, we do have to start paying towards that. And it's the total right now is 162.
And you called that a what report?
CAFR. So that's our comprehensive annual financial report.
Okay.
The city. So it's online for everybody to see, and it's just an obligated liability that's on there. It's just outstanding. If we did not pay that back, we would have to write it off, and that's 162,000 that is sitting out there in like the assets for the general fund, and so really it would take away from the general fund 162,000. So that is something that I wanted to make everybody aware that although the fiscal year 23 is coming up very soon, we do have that obligation. Other than that, we're in the second month, or actually third month, so we'll be finalizing the first quarter of the year in a few weeks. I can't believe it. And I will have a more finalized fiscal year 20 report for y'all at some point.
Would you mind taking a couple questions?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, on the revenue, you're showing for actual 2020, an insurance claims report of almost $18,000. Was that unexpected income?
Yes, so that would have matched an expense.
Oh, okay.
So you would probably have a liability, let's see, there's an insurance. There should be a claim expense. Now, because of the lag time, it could have been something that was even at the end of the last fiscal year and then they paid it. So I can actually research that for you to figure out.
Curiosity question more than anything. I just didn't
Okay.
see
An operating
corresponding number.
expense, okay.
And so you show the budget actually, I'm trying to do a quick calculation, going down for 2021 and right, so that 50,000 or so dollars. On your budget for 2021 is 8 on the total revenue.
Oh, on the revenue.
Yeah, on the revenue side, I'm sorry, on the revenue side. So we see revenues going down next year because of gas prices, John?
Yeah, so we actually tried to be a little bit more conservative to closer to what we projected.
Okay.
And that's where if you see, we basically did the 120 to match the actual and closer to the actual of the fuel sales. Now,
None of that forecast was probably made before we approved the rent increase that's going to go into effect in January.
Correct,
So
yeah.
there's
We, the
Yeah.
budget was actually created back in July, August-ish, so
Okay.
a lot changes.
All right, you answered my other question.
So,
Okay,
long story short, you had about 14 grand this year to that because of the rent. Well, that's going into effect. We're making up the
right,
invoices for January right now, so.
okay.
Thank you.
I'll always increase the expenses, but not the revenues, John.
You're good.
That's an account.
Any other questions for Logan?
That's where all businessmen work except car guys.
A little odd there.
All right, any other comments on the financial recap?
I like having this report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, I do too. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. John, did you have some more statistics for us? on Operations.
I got a few things to brief to get everybody up to speed. Don't know where to start this one, but Jeff Hathaway has been off the board for a number of months and they've not replaced Mr. Hathaway. We're now at 7 members, which is an odd number, which don't know if we want to stay at the odd number or replace Mr. Hathaway's position. But I think that's a little discussion needs to be talked about, and also with the city. I'm not sure. Sorry for bringing this up without notice, but just want to get it out there. Maybe we can talk about it next meeting. Anyway, just think about the makeup of the board, because we're one short and have been for a while. Like to update you on the hangar painting project. Sometime you thought that slide that I showed you. About a month ago, Jonathan Griffith recommended us getting one quote and going from there. We know this is going to be a big enough project and it's going to require, to bid it out and go through the legal channels, but we wanted to get at least one quote to get some idea of what we're looking at to get the hangars painted. Okay, so we got a company to come out. And I doubt you can see those numbers, so I'll get up and talk to them. These three numbers are the large commercial hangars. To paint the white trim and the doors is $8,400 per unit. Times three, actually this one's a little bit less, because it's smaller. It's $9,200 is to paint the beams and the door frames on the three west T hangars. 9,200, 9,200, 9,200. And then the hangars W9 and W10 on the far west, the hangars closest to water management, the big square ones. To take care of the rust and prep the white trim, 5,100, and then to put on paint the doors and the trim, 2,000. So 6, 7. I mean,
You want me to come right up over here if you want.
so $7,100 per building. When you add all this up, it comes to $65,100 to paint the white trim and paint the doors on the large hangars. It does not include painting the sides of the large hangars. Does not include painting the blue on the T hangars. This is white trim only, busting the rust, and by a professional company that knows what they're doing. So I know we don't have 65,000 just sitting around, but
So,
and that would be taking care of the white and would leave some quite a bit of the blue left to go.
So, Mr. McLean, thank you for all your work. Making this a sore topic. And go ahead. sir.
so, John, so you just, okay, I'm trying to wrap my hands around this. So you just got this quote kind of as, just kind of see where we were. This hasn't gone out for bid or anything like that.
Absolutely.
And Logan, where's Logan?
That's not real.
So, and we haven't planned anything in the budget for this, correct?
Other than
I
the increase
understand.
that had been earmarked for, it's 14,000 this year. And I think I planned on about 5,000 or so to add to that 14. So we probably got about 20 or so to play with. To knock out some of this.
All new,
John, what-
all new.
all new?
Yeah, that's just where you got this one quote from.
Yes.
Okay.
Did they have a spec? Did you have a written, you developed a spec, or did they just come out?
You came out and looked, it's not open.
So I guess you'd have to do an RFP when it's time to do it and all that.
Yeah. We just wanted, John wanted an idea of what might we be looking at here? Which was a good idea.
I'll just tell you from recent experience at the college, we put out a couple fairly large painting contracts, and the spread on the bids have been pretty astronomical.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
So, or not, depends on where you are.
I was thinking that with this.
Do you remember who you get your most?
Yeah, we've got, I can get you a list of the people that we put it out to. The one that we just hired to paint a large building in Orange Park is somebody, I think we've used them once before, so we have good experience with them.
I do think minimally we've got to start taking care of the white trim. We might can live with dead blue for a year or so, but the white trim has got to be dealt with.
I mean, I know we got a new RFP, but why would you want to just do that? I mean, if you're gonna do it, you probably just need to do it.
It is a sustainability issue.
Yeah.
And we are responsible.
Yes. So, and I guess this question, maybe Jonathan. So do we have one other question, and I'm gonna be quiet about this. So why would we, And again, I know this is just an off the street quote, but Jonathan, does the city own a lift?
We do.
Okay, never mind. Answer my question. All right.
And this quote does include the use of that city lift for the project.
Any other discussion?
I didn't know if Sarah would develop the specification or if that's something that Jonathan could do or.
I think this is just for informational purposes right now. Obviously, it shows that this is going to require a public solicitation to meet our procurement. This gets us in the range for budgeting purposes, which I believe is going to be hard to do, at least initially this year. But we'll probably come back to you at a later date. We'll have a more formalized specification and a plan for budgeting for these maintenance expenses. This is really just informational purposes.
Yeah, and I kind of segmented it up, thinking we're gonna get an additional 14,000 from increasing hangar rents that's earmarked for maintenance this year. That next year, that goes up to 19,000, because this year's increase doesn't include October, November, and December, which we get 14,000 this year for maintenance, and next year that will go up to 19,000 for maintenance.
Okay.
Conversation is going to continue on this, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll put it on the agenda for next meeting too.
Got an announcement of a new hire. Our Robert Smith, a young man that's been working for us, has been hired to be a 911 operator in Gainesville, starting in January. So we'll be losing him. But we've had a gentleman, some of you may know, a gentleman by the name of Joel Lee, is retired from Department of Agriculture in Tallahassee, and come back, and we're thrilled to have him on board.
It's a good guy.
Good. And I don't know if anybody saw the World War II veteran that came out and jumped with the parachute during the round parachute Heritage Foundation a month or so ago. A little segment actually made it onto, I think it's the ABC
NBC.
evening nightly news.
Lester
Lester
Holt.
Holtz.
Yep.
So we had a little segment of Palatka in the background. Unfortunately, he didn't mention, this segment didn't mention Palatka. Didn't even mention the Round Canopy Parachute Association or Art Shaver, who jumped with him. Although they showed, you can see in the background, it's obviously Palatka. But that was pretty cool. I've asked a young sketch artist, who is the daughter of Terry Green, who took the probably the #1 marketing photograph we have of the airport, of an airplane on time coming into the airport. You can see the city in the river in the background. Terry took that picture a number of years ago, and I've asked him to do another one because we closed the runway since then. It doesn't look the same. But he's got a daughter that's a gifted sketch artist, and I've asked her to start working on some type of a cartoon caricature of an alligator that I would like to kind of see if we could incorporate it as a logo or something to put on our shirts or our airport car, certainly our website. But what's everybody think about kind of a nice looking, funny looking alligator with, Palatka Municipal Airport, maybe flying an F-16 fighter jet or something.
That doesn't ring my bell,
Okay.
but I'm just one.
You surely want to see it before you went very far.
Yeah. Be okay if we
I'm a
show her this lady comes
I'm a
up there?
Seminole, so I'm not too thrilled.
Exactly right. Yes.
Sir, I didn't understand yours.
I said exactly right. I'm with her.
It does fit with the alligator. We have a new alligator in the lobby now. I don't know if anybody knew that.
No.
Yeah, Mr. Sam, Johnny Morris, bought the old 13.5 footer. And the room's been kind of empty without it, but Bruce Ditto called me the other day and said he's got another one, so we got another gator out at the airport. And it does draw people in, don't take pictures. And it's kind of really nice thing about alligator. Kids to take pictures with it, buy gas.
Need to get you a big cigar Indian.
So Mr. Ross,
You
you
stage yourself.
No,
No
no,
smoke.
Anyway.
no comment.
okay.
But thank you for asking.
Okay, so we will all wait to see the pictures, John.
We'll reserve judgment.
I do think we need to work on an updated logo. We've had this logo over at Learjet for just too long, letterhead and all that. I think it needs some help.
Keep reinventing yourselves, right?
I think so.
Yes.
For an airport.
For an airport, an airplane is a pretty nice logo.
Absolutely.
What's the current logo, John?
They're
Right there on the front of your,
front of your page.
no, no, this is it.
Okay.
That's that.
No, let's just do it.
So there's Jet, exactly.
Yeah.
Really? What model?
We
23.
held on to their.
I mean, since you're asking.
And along those lines.
John Brown is probably trying to buy one. So if you want to-
Very nice. Very good wishes when you're gone.
That's Don Most.
This is my last item.
Okay.
I'm doing some research on what it's going to take to literally redo our website. Our website is dated and just out of touch with 2021. A company called Controller has done our website for many, many years, and we need to have more creative control over it. So I'll let you know what those numbers work out to be in the future.
And are we gonna get our report on landings and fuel?
Oh, I defer that because of the financial recap. Or the, briefing the loading. Yeah, I want to take some financial stuff.
Well, what we like to keep seeing that, yes, we would.
Absolutely.
Going forward, that means a lot to us, what the fuel sales, how they're going. It gives us a basis rather than a number projection. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, John. The last item on our agenda is strategic business planning continued. And we're very honored to have Matt with us today from Paso. But I also wanted to start maybe with one comment, if you'll hear me. From our last meeting, I took away a real strong, think like true on this. That was, we were able to follow up on a little bit and get started. Another one was how are we going to market the airport in the future? And Mr. Holmes and Jonathan and John, you all have been working on that, just so you know that has been discussed. And we are working on a plan that hopefully we'll have at the next meeting to present. But also, you charged me with talking, me and John Ewell were talking to Skydive Palaca about the 5-acre plot that we bought beside the Moose Lodge. And so we reached out to Art and had a very engaging, exciting conversation with Art. Of course, I thanked him from us advisory board members for his faithful patronage to the airport and his commitment and all that he's done. And, whether we think of the fly-ins for 10 years, he's played a part in that, of course, a big part really. And our fuel sales every month and everything else that he does to bring excitement to our community, plus fill motel rooms. He was telling me how many motel rooms. He didn't give me a number. I mean, he's just saying I filled a lot of motel rooms this last year, even in spite of COVID, when they have these events. So, I mean, it's been very, very nice and encouraging. But he was so excited when he found out that we had bought those 5 acres. He said that he tried to buy them 3 times in the last 15 years, and the price was always too high. And he couldn't do it because his dream is if they put a hangar, he gives up his hangar, they tear down the existing fly building that they have, and they take out all the asphalt and millings there, and they turn that into they expand their drop zone so that they can have more area to land. And he said that they're working right now on 2 government contracts. The Canadian one that he told us about a year ago fell through because of COVID. But the 2 that they're working on right now are very large military contracts with our government. And he said if they come through, It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have a lot of people and a lot of jumping. And, you know, he talked about how DeLand is crowded, like we all know, more and more and more, and we have a beautiful spot. So he said he would love to share the 5 acres with an entrance or take it all. A land lease is acceptable. If he gets the contracts, he implied that he could put up his own hangar maybe. It probably wouldn't be what he would want it to be, but he would put up a hangar and it would be through the fence so that anybody entering the airfield would go through his hangar if we didn't have a gated entry too. And if we did, there's plenty of room to have both side by side. So we could still go through with our other entrance and have him right beside us. And then they would have acres to use for parking and for all the other things that they needed. He expressed great excitement over not having to deal with the security at the airfield because of the gate, all the people coming and going and the gate not working. And then he said, I guess it's been broken a lot this year. And, you know, he said that would all go away if we could park their customers on the outside of the fence and get into the airfield through their building. So that really sounded exciting after all the years of wondering, you know, what might be our growth with an anchor tenant that we've had, and this could be it. Plus he'd give up 2 hangars that he's got now.
Well, I think it was operation, 3, one of the big ones, and then.
So we could fill those with other guests, and of course, add more income from his building and his hangar and his ground lease.
So he would build his own hangar?
Well, he said he could. I think he would rather Andrew build the hangar, of course, and then pay lease either way. He implied that if he built his own, it would probably start with a meager shell and add to it as he went. You know, with classrooms inside and the other things that he would want. If
Monetarily, it works out a little better if we can build it and charge the monthly rent rather than lease him the ground,
it's true.
the land that he built the building on. So if we can write the script, probably it works out better to build it.
We could make a lot more money.
See if Matt can find the money.
Hi.
Kyle, yeah. Hi, Kyle.
One thing I wanted to say, not to throw cold water on it or anything, but I think that we have to look at what our master plan is going to be for the airport. The reason they don't want, in a lot of airports, these skydivers. And if you ever plan to do commercial or you ever plan to do transport in here, they won't fit together. One of the issues that most of the airports now is they're trying to, and Don might be, let me start over again. Not to throw water on the skydive Palatka wanting the 5 acres and to make a very big jump school and stuff. I think we have to look at the master plan because it can actually hurt us if we want to go to transports to come in here, big jets to come in here. They aren't going to do it with these. They're just not going to do it. And that has been a hindrance already with us. Now, look, I like them and they've been an anchor tenant. And I just don't think, I always say we're always looking for stuff in Palatka. I can take you to East Palatka. We're so anxious to get something built that we put a Popeyes on the riverfront in a few pieces, or we put a thing. And I think we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that whatever we put on there fits with a overall master plan for the airport. If we want to be the jump school of this part, that may be the best thing for us, and we plan all the rest of it. But if you put 5 acres and you allow them to not come through the airport, I think maybe I'm being negative, but we got to look at both sides. When they don't come through the airport, there's nobody in the airport. There's no access to sell them stuff or to show them stuff. I think that there's just something, and I'm not sure that you can do that even. I'm not sure under the regulations now that you can just have somebody go through their hangar and go in. There's got to be security all the way around this thing. And it can't just be John Doe doing it, whoever. So I I just point that out, that I think that before we jump, we should have a master as to what is it we're trying to do. Because that 5 acres could also be for somebody that comes in here with a big jet that wants to be the way, maybe Brass Pro, he's got his thing going good again. I think I personally would start with him. I would say, hey, we got 5 acres. We just got it's down here. To me, and I don't want to steal the show in a way, maybe mad at me. I just think we always should look to the future. You know, I'm not going to be here that many years, and most of us aren't. And it's to look, oh, what are we going to do? Some of the things we built have really been nice. Some of the things we built, maybe we put them in the wrong place anyway. So that's fine for whatever it's worth.
Thank you. And I do think, John, that, you know, one thing about the skydive business is the more that each community grows, they get pushed to another spot. And I think if we do go ahead and let Skydive Hawaii do something like that, we need to do it with the understanding in our minds that, you know, when we get that runway lengthened and grow more, that they'll probably end up being pushed out later, you know, and it can be
I don't think
built
we-
accordingly.
Or come up with an idea whether this can be done in a big way somewhere else, not too far away,
Yeah,
you know, with other property.
Oh, yeah.
I
You know,
just
and
don't-
let them be a part of the family, you know, but, you know, airplanes and junk don't mix too well.
They don't mix. And I think that we're sitting here talking about how good it is. I've talked to a lot of people that don't want to come in here because in the flight schools, they've been, actually, they've slacked back because of it. They're teaching students and they're concerned, as you might expect. And I'm throwing cold water in a way, but I'm really just wanting to get just because they're there, just because they want it. We got 5 acres, which is super. Let's get the best for the airport. It doesn't make any difference to me. I know it is a problem flying in when you got a lot of them jumping. And we've had more and more and more and more and more. You know, they're jumping up where my hangar is. I come out there and they're having cookouts and stuff and it's growing. And if that's the pleasure of the board or of the city, fine. But that decision needs to be made on a kind of global. So I'll shut up, whatever.
Yeah, jump situations, just like helicopters, you know, you want to watch what you allow.
I heard that down there. I heard him moan down there.
Hello, this is Valeria, the city attorney. Good afternoon. How are you? I would say we have a new planning director. I'm on Zoom and I don't have my camera on. We have a new planning director, Ms. Bernadette Fisher. Before you make that kind of decision about the location of the Jump Academy, I think that's something that also should be made in consultation with the city's planning director and planning department. Ms. Bernadette Fisher is the new planning director, and I think that's something that should be consulted with her regarding the location or possible locations for this.
We have a master plan. Have you seen that already?
Excuse me?
Have you seen our master plan?
No, I haven't, but I'm just saying that in consultation with Ms. Fisher, I think that this entire idea should be, she should be consulted in it.
Thank you, ma'am. So on our master plan, we have many locations already laid out, you know, which we have went over almost in every meeting that shows what we've done so far. And this is a historic, 20-year project. So thank you very much, Ms. Thomas.
Mr. Chairman, I think Jonathan had a.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got some kind of exciting news. It's an opportunity. Ms. Tucker successfully secured a little over $90,000 for a rural business development grant for what we called a market analysis and business incubator feasibility study. It was written citywide. However, we're currently in the process of crafting the request for proposals, and we're trying to focus in on specific areas. I'm sure you can imagine what those areas are. Obviously, downtown, the barge port, the business park, and the aviation field. We would like to kind of get the board's thoughts. Maybe we could meet one-on-one and show you what the scope of work involves. But what you're speaking to, Mr. Browning, is exactly what we're trying to write into here. We want them to come in, speak to you guys, speak to stakeholders, speak to potential businesses, existing businesses, determine where our market opportunities are, and then show us what we can construct as far as incentives or additional infrastructure around that to move the community forward. So I think it's good that you guys are having this conversation, but I think we got a couple steps that we need to take before we get there. So some exciting news.
That's good.
So,
That's right.
Is this the grant that the chamber worked with the city on and the same one? Okay, that's all good news. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Very nice.
Money's always good.
sometimes.
All right, sir, you're up.
If it's income, it's good.
Yeah, sometimes it comes with ties.
I know that.
We didn't have anything specifically prepared as far as strategic planning to add on to what we had spoken about last time. Andrew did inform me that you guys have been having the conversations with Art.
Yes.
So I don't have anything specifically on strategic planning to add.
And I think that the last meeting, we kind of left it off with Don asking for Andrew to check on a consultant that looks at things like Jonathan just mentioned, strategic planning and economic development. And also the big thing before I get in touch with Mr. Schaefer for this meeting, that they will all be part of the strategic planning item on the agenda.
Very good.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Coexisting.
I don't know any
I know how to do it.
companies that.
Not that I'm aware of, but
If you could,
I
if
mean,
you work
in
with
association with what Jonathan was talking about.
I've already started a dialogue with Alesco regarding
You-
it.
you, nice.
I'm gonna ask you when are they gonna get started, with the study for the incubator?
Ms. Brown, I don't know. We're trying to get the RFP out this month. So at the end of the month, you know, that process can take anywhere from 30 to 45 days. And then we obviously have to bring a short list back to the commission, and they have the ability to request presentations. So it could be spring before we're actually putting pen to paper on anything.
Okay. Is there any other comments on strategic plan? We're getting done awfully early for a rare change.
That's great.
The young lady is out there, I think that's our, new planner. Would you all like to meet her?
Sure.
I'll just bring her. You might as well meet her now.
John, related to the land acquisition and the $300,000 funding, that little bit that was left over, there was no further, movement on getting a hold of that landowner of the small parcel, Moody. I just bring it up, there's still that $19,000 or approximately that is unspent from the original funding that's in place now that could either be used to purchase the parcel or could possibly be used for some kind of initial planning for the land act, for the entrance road
Right.
near on the 5 acres, some kind of, design work or initial study on that.
That might be better use right now. There's the Comer family.
Yeah, I haven't had any luck running down the
Okay.
heir to the Comer estate or executor or secretary. So I don't know. Anybody here's a Mr. Sylvester Comer's family, please let me know.
You're gonna reach out.
Yeah, I have a few different ties, and so I have somebody that's actively trying to help
Okay, here comes one.
start the process, yeah, so, or start the conversation. So, haven't gotten anywhere really with the conversation yet, but I'll keep you posted when I hear something.
Okay, yeah, I took some comfort in knowing how long we have to make this happen at the last meeting. Andrew said we got a long time before that money would go away.
Unfortunately, Ms. Fisher had already left for lunch.
Got your next time.
She escaped.
I have a little update on the AWAS, but it's no different than last month. It's gonna take a couple of months to get the computer built out here and installed. And at that time, then we can determine if there was any damage to the sensors out on the field. Hope it's not, But I've been in another airport that lost its AWAS, and it took that airport a year to get it back up to speed. The skydiver hit the antenna, and then there was some storm damage to it too. So anyway, getting AWAS is fixed, time consuming.
And you ran all the new wire already?
Oh, well, that was for the taxi lights.
Yeah.
And I drove around the airport last night after dark. Unbelievably, I only found 3 light bulbs that were burned out. That's a record. That's a record. There's hundreds of bulbs. There's always. So the airport is looking very, very good for the taxi lights and the runway lights and the runway and identifier lights and the new beacon. Everything seems to be working very well. We got one gate you got to get fixed, some kind of rectifier or something. But if you get a chance, come out and take a look at the airport at night. It's pretty cool driving by.
Thank you.
You haven't mentioned another subject here about the fly-in.
Well, the flying is not going to happen, right? Is that
Okay.
what you're looking to hear? Yes.
What
So we
month
are
do we have to
officially
fly?
not having a flying in
January.
January.
That's a little, is there possible that we could, I guess there's slots, but you know, it looks like within a few months, they might be really opening stuff. We can't, that's about the only time. We just have to put it off till next year. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
And don't forget, John, that we had recommended to the city that they hire an outside promoter to put
Yes,
on
correct.
those
Yes.
things.
That's
I
the
don't want
thing.
that to slip off our radar, and let's try to do it again.
That was my main concern, right?
You're absolutely right.
And parking.
We could luck into a production company that's trying to gear up again after COVID, that's looking for events like ours to, get their business ginned up. So in a weird way, it could wind up being a nice thing with the right company.
On Wayne's thing, has there been any movement, Wayne, that you've heard with the city towards agreeing with that? Was that?
That was brought up at which commission meeting? I was brought up several commission meetings ago, and that was kind of, I don't know if the correct words adopted, but it was agreed upon by the commissioners. Mary Lawson, do you remember that, Ms. Brown?
I was trying to think.
Yeah. But I know that discussion was had. John actually presented it, and it was embraced by the city commission. They would have to do RFP for a person to go out. That was done in March or February or March. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, the commission knows we're interested in trying to find a production company, but they had not taken official action on it.
Up in Tennessee, one of the old Air Force base there in Smyrna, the Rotary Club takes that responsibility and makes it, that's the only thing that's out there. It's a whole fundraiser for the whole year. They make a fortune.
Sure they do.
How do they do it? They run the air show, the air,
Well, that would be really nice.
how do they make the money, do you know?
Make it on food, and that's the same thing anybody else would.
Cars?
Gate receipts, parking, food.
They probably charge for people to go to it.
Yeah, they do get something at the gate. But it's minimum because there's a family deal, any family can afford to get in there. But they also have sponsorship. That's the big thing. All year long, they're working on sponsorships.
You know what airport it is?
Smyrna,
Smyrna.
the old Smyrna Air Force Base, Smyrna, Tennessee. I guess they still have it. I mean, it's been years since I've even,
So we'll look into that.
Rotary Club.
That'd be nice to have an update on.
We get the noon Rotary Club to sponsor it.
I heard that. I'm going to bring that up with your president of your club. Bob.
Well, she bosses you, she.
That's true. That is true.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to talk about? Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful Merry Christmas and a good family end of the year and a safe holiday. And I guess we can go ahead and have a motion to adjourn.
I apologize for being late. I went to the airport, not thinking.
Well,
And I was on time. I was so proud of myself. I rolled up there and it said, I'm the only one here. Oh my God, I know it's right.
Good night.
Yes.
So maybe next time we can have it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we, Mr. Holmes can buy us more.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so anything else, motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, aye? Adjourn.
Kudos to Mrs. Brown.
Mary Lawson Brown.
Yep, yep.